up.
Ready, up.
Ready, up. The demonstration you just saw was a modified, if you will, version of the classic ready up drill. This is something that in the Army was often used as a punishment, telling the bad private to sit there and ready up, ready up, ready up, until the NCO thought that he had paid his penance. It actually serves some very valuable training and can be done with relatively low round count and might make a difference for you, be it your self-defense situation, 3-gunning, or out on a hunt. So today we're going to go over the ready up, how to practice it, and some tips. Coming up next on GBGuns. So what Tia is doing here is the classic ready up. What the heck is the value of this thing? I'm sure a lot of you are wondering. And the main thing is it builds the muscle memory of where and how to present your rifle. That depends on where you're putting the stock in your shoulder, also the height of your optics, the distance of the target, all of that. But hand placement is also a thing. She's got her foregrip there, and you might see she's keeping her hand in it, which makes things come up pretty quick. But you notice that head dip, that costs time versus that quicker one there. And we'll show you what the difference is and how to fix things like this, because it's different for every person, every optic, and even every stock. So one of the main things that you learn in doing this is with your particular stock and body type, where that pivot point needs to be to roll it into the shoulder. This is a Mission First tactical stock, which has a nice curve to the end of it, fits really nice in the pocket, and makes it really easy to roll up. If Tia's got it just right, she'll show us one more time. There's minimal head movement. It seems like the rifle's a little high. If I zoom back to show kind of a low ready from that shoulder point, it looks like it's way up there, but it allows her to just roll right up without a lot of head movement. Placing the stock a little bit lower in the shoulder, like you might be more comfortable or more fatigued carrying when you roll it up, you end up with a lot of head movement, and that results in lost time in your target acquisition. Still a lot of fine tuning there. Bringing the stock closer to the center of the chest and rolling up. Looks a little bit straighter for her. Now, as far as hand movement, there's been all kinds of tactical trends. She's got a midway foregrip on there that's angled that just serves as an easy memory spot. That's an advantage to doing something like that. But if you don't have one of those and you're doing like the classic magwell grip, so trying with the classic magwell grip, which contrary to tactical trends, was popular in the armed services because it's a very comfortable way to carry your rifle, more center of point of weight.
What I'm noticing about this though is that it allows for more movement of the rifle up front. So I'm actually having to acquire my target rather than just setting my sights on my target, which defeats the whole purpose of being ready to come up.
So you could say, once again, a close quarters thing, it might still work, but it's wobbling quite a bit. Now you're using fine iron sights, and we have a torso target at only about 15 yards. Would you say it's still too slow for that?
Yes, in a defensive position, yes, it's still too slow because you want to make sure that you're on your target. You don't want to be waving the front of your gun around, and especially with the triggers that we have in these, have it go off unexpectedly or before you're prepared. So this, for me, on this particular gun, is not a safe option.
Now we'll take a look at some other stocks, other rifle configurations to see any notes or differences with that. So now we've got the Diamondback DB15, which has a Magpul stock that has a more squared end to it. And Tia does not have that hand wrist there. She's trying an under wrist. What are your thoughts on having your wrist under the handguard like that?
This feels secure in that I can really control the front of my rifle, keeping it pulled in to my shoulder so that I'm only focused on coming up to my point of aim. Here.
And now this Diamond Series Diamondback has a really tiny mag well, so you're basically holding the mag. There's not much mag well there.
Yeah, my hand just kind of naturally went here, and it has, because of the shape of this hand guard, it just kind of sits really nicely in my palm right there. So that felt natural for me.
The optic here is a Lucid Optic M7. It's a sort of a red dot with reticle inside of it. And you notice it's got a higher height above bore than the iron sights did. How is that affecting your need to adjust?
This makes me have less of a need to adjust. I'm not bringing my eye down and having to focus on those fine iron sights that I have on my rifle. What I noticed is I initially had this stock out too far, so it wasn't in a great position for me to be able to transition across my body.
And how about that squared off stock end versus the rounded you had on the MFT?
This feels more traditional than what I'm used to. The reason I went with that is because it allowed for that roll. But because of the width of this, I've got a little bit more freedom in where I can hold it. It just kind of takes up my whole shoulder no matter what. If I'm coming across or if I'm coming straight up and down, it kind of stays in position.
It's also, I believe, a little bit rubbery on the back end there, so it kind of sticks a little. So speaking of more traditional, let's go old school. So now we've gone really old school with the Brownells 601 and an Armson OG1, the original red dot. Kind of an interesting thing. But you notice the length of pull is longer on this older style stock. We also have a squared off back end and a triangular handguard. So Tia's hand placement has come in a little bit, it seems.
I wonder though, yeah, going out just is not comfortable, and it's a lot got to do probably I don't have the ability to adjust my length of pull here, so I have to accommodate for it here, which explains why and how we may have come to using this fashion, because I tell you what, this is not comfortable. It seems as though it would be because it's triangular, it just kind of sits in your hand, but I am not finding this comfortable at all. Might be bringing back some post-traumatic stress syndrome.
Especially as another thing to think about is the tactics of shooting has turned from a more angled face towards the target to now more chest forward, which is what we're all kind of used to. Comes from wearing plates and rather catching around in the plate than around on the side. So that length of pull is a little long for you, but we see she's also having to pocket that stock pretty darn high because we have the optic on top of the carry handle.
I'm definitely remembering some sunny day drills.
So hopefully this is useful in your training, and as I said at the beginning, this is something that suspecting trouble helps you pop on target quickly or on the hunt, or well, there's lots of different applications for it, especially the competition shooter where you might be transitioning to a spot and needing to pop up and engage rapidly. And as you see, I'm standing here holding this rifle, supporting around the center of the weight, right in the middle here, which is not a great spot for doing that, although it is a short movement for me to be able to pop it into my shoulder. So it's something to think about the next time you're out on the range, on a hunt, on patrol, where you're holding the hand for comfort and ease of supporting that weapon over time may not be the same spot that is ideal for you to get on target in a ready up. So try these ready up drills from different spots. The thumb forward, thumb over bore method is very popular for good reason. It's sort of, you're just pointing your thumb at the target, and in doing so, The rifle is already on target, makes it very easy, but supporting the rifle this way is much more fatiguing and less comfortable, and very few people walk around with their hand all the way forward like this, because then you've got all of this weight unsupported. So be realistic with yourself. If you carry or support a rifle like this, try practicing like this. If you go midway, wherever, and you may also find that your favorite stock is no longer your favorite stock for that application. This is why there are so many stock designs out there. Some of them are great for prone, terrible for chest forward, or good for a classic angled shot, hand underneath, but not so good chest on. That's a big spot of where the adjustable stocks come from, because my length of pull from shoulder to trigger is much shorter here than it is here. Just some stuff to chew on. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Let us know what your favorite method is, and we'll see you in the next video.